Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, we're talking about emotional clarity, commitment, and connection for an avoidant. This is very important. This needs to happen at some point in the relationship. I talked about the stages of a relationship, and I recommend you do this around the end of stage 2 to the beginning of stage 3. This is what I recommend. And the stages video was it was posted a couple days ago when I'm making this video. I don't know when I'm going to post this video though, but it's really important that I would say if you don't know that video, go ahead and look at it, because this is important to use them together, but I don't want to make this video like double that length. It's not going to make sense if I've already posted it recently. And so please keep that in mind. You want to do this at a very specific time. Don't do this if you guys have only known each other for a week. It might not help, but they need the emotional clarity to commit, but they need to love you prior to wanting to commit, of course. And they need to process some of the love, which is why we need to have it happen after the beginning of stage 2, because stage 2 is when they usually feel like they love you, but normally that's when they pull away. But anyways, this is very important. It's going to look like detachment, but it's not playing games, because what's happening is you're just giving them a little bit of space to be themselves and get more comfortable in that relationship. So the first one is really common if you are a female and your partner is a male avoidant. Because this dynamic shows up a little bit more. It also might happen with the same gender if they're both males, but usually the avoidant is going to have to be male for this one to be more common, because female avoidants don't feel too comfortable with this one. So if your partner is a female avoidant, this point might not work. It's just something to keep in mind. Male avoidants, when they feel really safe with someone, they become talkative. Not all of them, but a lot of them do, especially fearful avoidants. Fearful avoidants are very talkative. In my relationship, he is the talker. Like, he talks and talks, but around anybody else, he barely talks at all. I'm not saying he's shy. He's not shy. He just doesn't talk. But around me, he is a talker. Yesterday, we went to Lowe's to buy he likes to do gardening and stuff like that. I don't like outdoor stuff. And we went to get a little pot, and then some seeds. I like cooking, so he's growing me some herbs and just some other stuff, right? And I barely said a word. And he was telling me about 3 different topics. And I know that this is I don't mind. I'm more of a listener anyways. You guys don't see this because all you guys do is hear me talk, but I'm much more of a listener. And that makes him happy. And so what I suggest, for me, it's natural. I don't have a problem with that's the natural way we are. But sometimes if you're an anxious preoccupied, this might make you a little uncomfortable, but give it a shot. Let them talk about what they like. And the reason why this is helpful is because a lot of times this is how they invest, particularly male avoidance, especially male fearful avoidance. They invest by sharing how they feel about things, right? They just like to talk about how they feel. With dismissive avoidance, it's not as common, but it does happen. But fearful avoidance, particularly, how they feel about sports, how they feel about whatever it is, whatever they're in the mood to talking about, they are actually translating feelings. It might not sound like it, but how they invest, especially fearful avoidance, is how they feel. And so take that moment to take a seat back and let them talk. You might feel a little bit like, should I say an input? A lot of times they're not looking for input. A lot of times they're just looking to talk, and let them do that. It's healthy for them to feel safe in this space. And then eventually, if you are a person who's also a talker, you can match that at some point. But if you're like me, where you just don't really like to talk that much, you don't have much on your mind, to be honest, I just don't. I don't really do that. If you're like me, let them talk. It might help them feel more safe, okay? The next one is remove yourself from the need of constant reassurance. If you are an anxious, preoccupied individual, I would suggest you can get reassurance from them sometimes. You should. But also get it from your friends, from your mother, from your father, from your therapist. Anybody where you can get some reassurance so that it's not always putting that pressure on them, and then slowly get some reassurance from them, okay? Just a little reassurance is very helpful, but teach them how to do it. An example could be, I'm feeling a little upset about A, B, and C, or whatever it is. Could you tell me things are going to be all right? Give them the instructions on how to reassure you. Very important, because this actually helps them and signals them that they can succeed and make you happy. Very, very important, okay? The next one is you want to express your needs clearly and kindly once and let it sit for a while before reintroducing it. This is only if you are in the situation where you guys have some, how would I even put it? Some strain. Every relationship will have this at some point. But I cited in like stage 2, right? That stage video I made a couple weeks ago, or I don't know when you guys are gonna, I don't know when this is posting. Just look up stages or something like that on my channel. But anyways, that moment, usually you guys are a little bit more tension. This is where I suggest starting to do this towards the end of that stage. Express your needs clearly and kindly once and let it sit, because what happens is they're going to think about that subconsciously, and then you build more rapport, which can really help them to feel more safe and more comfortable for you to reintroduce it again. But why do we do it like this? Why don't you just build rapport and then bring it up? The reason why you bring it up a little bit before, then you build even more rapport and then bring it up again is because they are more comfortable with that topic, so they're less likely to be very triggered because they've heard it before. It didn't just hit them in the face. They've had some time to realize what you said did not like destroy their whole world. So for example, let's say you said, I want to move in together. Let's just, get something big out there, right? And they're like, I'm not ready. I don't move in. I've never lived with a woman. I've never lived with a man, whatever it is, the way they are triggered. Okay, fine. The next time you bring it up, they realize, okay, you didn't push for it. You didn't break up with me. You didn't pressure me. You didn't manipulate me. You took it pretty well. That's their mind, right? And so next time you bring it up, they're going to think, okay, that's not that bad. So then their triggers are less. And then they start thinking about actually the request, because they realize, hey, it's possible. It's okay. I can say no. I can say yes. I can say maybe. And he or she's not going to get so mad at me. Let me entertain this a little bit. It's a much higher chance for both you and them to heal, and both of you to get what you want. Because normally what I see is you get some sort of middle ground compromise, and then you guys can find a good version of it, right? But you want them to be open to compromise. We're not saying you want them to, be exactly the way you want. That's not fair for them. But you want some sort of version of compromise. Maybe it can be you guys live together, but they have an office space, a basement area where they can retreat to, and maybe they can sometimes go out and hang out with their friends more often, whatever your version is, right? Or maybe sometimes where it's like you guys sleep over 2 weeks at your house, 2 weeks at their house, so there's still some space in between. But you make a compromise only by them getting comfortable with challenging their own beliefs and fears, okay? And the next one is assessing them fairly and more logically can really help by them getting emotional clarity, because you will act more clearly towards your view of them. Okay, I'm trying to explain that. If you assess them fairly and logically, you're going to be less triggered, which will give them more emotional clarity. So for example, let's say we have a dismissive avoidant male, okay, and they tend to answer on time, like very quickly. They always answer their messages. They don't cancel. And for whatever reason, they did not text you for a couple hours. Let's assess them. Maybe they mentioned they've had a very busy work week. And so you might think, okay, they're busy. Okay. So maybe there's no reason to double text them. Maybe they never said anything. This is an opportunity for you to think, okay, are they hurt? Is there something wrong? Did the text message get sent? Maybe you can send, hey, just let me know. Are you okay? You typically answer. Assess them logically instead of reacting to what is happening. Because if it is truly that they're in some sort of situation, they can give you clarity or you can help them out, right? And so assessing them fairly and logically helps you to act more in your logical side, and they react better with logic. So if you say something like, are you okay? Or did you get my text message? The only reason I'm saying this is because you tend to answer relatively quickly. And so I just want to make sure you're okay. They will say, oh, okay, you're not pressuring me. You're assessing me logically. And they respond with more clarity and understanding of you. And when they get more clarity, they realize how important this relationship is. And so I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.